Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this thing that happened to me one time that almost ended me because this is basically the closest I've ever come to death in my entire life. Okay, so it's 2013, June 2013. In fact, it was June 9th. I remember the exact date. I just turned 29 years old, week earlier. My birthday's June 2nd. And my friend Adam, you heard some of my other stories, you know a little bit about him, invited me to go out with him to this hookah lounge in Smithtown called Fire and Ice. Everybody in that area knows it. Everybody's been there probably at least once. It's a shitty little hookah bar, but whatever. It's like the spot. And I didn't even want to go originally. I'm just like, nah, I don't really feel like going out tonight. But he practically like begged me. And then finally I'm like, all right, whatever. It's just Smithtown. It's like 15 minutes. So I get in the car and I drive out there. And the Fire and Ice is on Jericho Turnpike, just east of the Smithtown Bowl, a few blocks east of that. And that part of Jericho Turnpike, okay, like every part of Jericho Turnpike, it's a pretty dangerous road, a lot of accidents, people getting run over by cars and shit, whatever. And when you're going east to get to Fire and Ice, I had to make a left turn. So I'm sitting there waiting in the turning lane, bunch of cars go by, and now the road is clear. But there's this car that wanted to make a left out of Fire and Ice to go east on Jericho. And I'm trying to wave this guy on, like, go, go. And like I'm sticking my arm out the window. He can see me waving. And this idiot is just sitting there. Like, what are you, blind? Coast is clear, go. And then finally, after sitting there for like an entire minute, this fucking moron decides to make his left turn when there's traffic barreling down on him. Yeah, he cuts right in front of this Jeep that must have been doing about 75 miles an hour down Jericho. And this driver of the Jeep had some crazy ass like Jedi reflexes or something, because he managed to swerve around this asshole in between me and this car. And of course my life is flashing before my eyes. All I see is the guy go out into Jericho, this Jeep flying down the road. I'm like, I'm fucking dead. I did not think that Jeep could thread that needle, right? Holy shit. Like, if this Jeep hits me, I'm dead. Like, I probably would have been killed instantly. And I'm like, yeah, you could think about a lot in a couple of seconds when you're about to die. Again, somehow the Jeep threads the needle, gets in between me and this asshole, and goes on his way. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, it takes like a couple of seconds to process. Holy shit! Are you kidding? What? What just happened? I'm supposed to be dead right now. Like, pinch yourself. I'm alive? Wow. And to top it off, there's like 15 or 20 people standing on the front lawn outside of Fire and Ice, all like smoking a cigarette or whatever. And they all would have witnessed my death. Right? And I had to like sit in the turning lane for another minute. I was too like shook to drive. And I yell out the window at all these guys like, yo, I almost died, bro. And they all just start like hysterically laughing at the way I said it. Like, I almost fucking died. Wow. And the crazy thing was that a wrong way driver actually saved my life. Because what this motherfucker was trying to do that almost got me killed was he was just trying to go like a half a block to another parking lot, like down the street. He wasn't even trying to really drive on Jericho. So he was going to go the wrong way on Jericho eastbound in a westbound lane and just cut over real quick and shoot in the other parking lot. So he basically just turned into the right lane of Jericho, and the Jeep was able to use the left lane to swerve around him. Yeah, it was like that. If he had actually tried to make a real left turn, he would have cut right in front of that Jeep, and I'd be dead right now. I wouldn't be telling the story. Yeah. So, what a night. And my friend Adam wasn't outside. He wouldn't have actually witnessed it, but he would have come running outside after he heard the crash. He would have seen me dead in my car, and he would have blamed himself for the rest of his life, like, oh, he'd be alive if I didn't make him come out that night, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, this was a guy who had a lot of people die. We all know that person. He's been to like 35 funerals. Like, I've only been to 2 funerals. Like, how the fuck do you have so many friends die? Jesus Christ. Yeah, but that would have just been one more funeral for him. And yeah. So, that was my little story about the time I went to Fire and Ice in Smithtown, and his asshole just cuts in front of a speeding Jeep, which almost hits me and kills me. And somehow it missed me, and I'm still here. What a night. What a fucking night.